Hey guys, we're on part 4 of our Encounters with God series. Once again, this has been a special series for me. It's been a unique series because, as I've said before, it's mainly just sharing stories of encounters with God, of real, tangible encounters with God that either I've had, and I'm going to share another one from my experience today, or that Yen Ling, my wife, has had. And the purpose of the series, if you've listened to any of the other or watched any of the other videos, is not to teach or outline or define what your relationship with God should look like, and it should look exactly like this or something like that. No, this is more saying this is what I've experienced. I certainly believe it falls within biblical guidelines, not outside of them. And at a high level, and at a very foundational level, it's to say that I believe that God is real. I believe he created us for relationship. I believe he's the ultimate relator. I believe that he certainly knows the 5 love languages. Have you heard? I don't know if all of you watching have heard of the 5 love languages, but you can Google it. I think it's Gary Chapman. The point is that we are all designed differently, and that we respond, you know, differently to different ways of being loved. So, for example, my 2 top love languages are touch, so a hug, would be an encouraging thing for me, and words. So an encouraging word or, something like that would be great. But then my wife is more acts of service, which means without asking, if you serve her, help out in some way around the house or whatever it might be, help with the kids, and gifts. So if you surprise her with a gift or even a small thing, right? Simple thing, but it's just the thought that counts, and it goes along with acts of service. But anyway, so I believe that God is real. I believe he created us for relationship. I believe he's the ultimate relator. I believe he totally understands the 5 love languages because he created them. I believe he understands the 5 senses, which is touch, sight, hearing, smell, and taste, and that he is fully capable of interacting with us on a tangible level. Now, some people believe that he doesn't really interact with us on a tangible level, certainly not regularly. But I believe he's not confined by heaven. I mean, he told us in the Bible, he sent the Holy Spirit, right? So we know the Holy Spirit is here and with us. So he's not confined by heaven. I don't believe that God is waiting for us to get to heaven in order to give us a hug, a tangible touch, a word, a picture, anything else you might consider supernatural. I don't believe he needs to wait. I believe he can do it now. So I don't know how he wants to do it in your life. Most likely he wants to do it in your life in a way that fits your unique personality and your love languages and etc. But so today I'm going to share a story. I've just been sharing stories this week. It's just to maybe open our minds, to build some faith, to at least cause people to go out and really not go out anywhere, but get on their knees and get in our prayer rooms and our war rooms and our, even as we go to sleep at night and say to God, I want to know you. A great example is Moses met with God face to face in the Holy of Holies, and the people did not. Well, they both served the same God. They both knew the same God, but they had different, I don't want to say level. They did have different levels of relationship with him. That's not what I'm preaching about right now in terms of levels, but they certainly interacted with him with different experiences. For Moses, it was much more tangible, right? And so I don't want to be one of the people outside of, the temple, outside of the Holy of Holies. I want to be Moses meeting with him face to face, right? So everything that God has for me, I want to experience and know in terms of relationship with him. So the story today is, as I mentioned before, I spent 7 years in Taiwan as a missionary. When I initially got there, I really was kind of thrown into the church that I went to serve at, a very supernatural culture. And that's true for all of Taiwan and most of Southeast Asia. Whether you're a Christian or not, you grow up around these temples and just things that make you believe, oh, you just accept the supernatural is real, right? You grew up in Atlanta, Georgia, and you don't grow up around the supernatural. Maybe around churches, the Bible, but not the supernatural. But anyway, I got there and surrounded by a Christian church, Bible-believing Christian church is very supernatural believing. So I spent a lot of time in my apartment on my knees or on my bed, lying on my bed with my hands just open like this, just saying, God, I want to know you. I want to know who you are. I want to interact with you and however you want to interact with me. And just a simple story is that as I would sit there, get there on my knees, I was there on my knees for hours, 5 or 6 hours, or lying on my bed with my hands, my arms open for hours. I would feel what I believe is the presence of God, the hand of God, the Holy Spirit of God, literally moving back and forth in between my hands. Just this gentle yet powerful, very present flow. And sometimes he would just sit there. The presence would just sit there. And then there were a few times where I was there, just kind of long enough and waiting on him and just very much in intimacy with him, where I would literally see the skin on my palms press in. And I would feel it too. Now, of course, I didn't see him and I didn't see anybody else. I was the only one in the room other than what I believe is the Holy Spirit. But, my skin would press in and I'd see that, whoa, I'd feel it and I'd see the skin go in right there where I felt it and there and all that. And I believe it was just gentle touches from God, using my love languages, which is touch. And he gives me a lot of words and pictures too. So words and pictures. But at that time, touch, one of my love languages, the gentle touch of God saying, I'm here, I'm real. And Hebrews 11 says, without faith, it's impossible to please God because we've got to believe he exists and that he is a rewarder of those who diligently seek him. And I believe when we diligently seek him, like 5 or 6 hours on our knees or whatever it is, and that was 5 or 6 hours on my knees for 8 months in a row every day. But when we diligently seek him, and I'm not saying that's what it requires, I'm just saying when we diligently seek him, it says he'll reward. And I believe the reward, the ultimate reward, is a greater, more intimate, even more tangible relationship with him. And so even to this day, even last night, I went to bed with my worship music on as I was going to sleep and both my hands up just like this, and I could feel the Holy Spirit of God, what I believe is the Holy Spirit of God, just flowing back and forth. And just that real touch, that real presence is very powerful. And you might say, well, why would he do that? Why would he do that? Well, he created us for a relationship. Why would he not do that? Why would he not do that? So as I've said, this series is not to say that I know why everything happens or how it happens, but it is to challenge us and to encourage us to say, let's seek to know the God of the Bible within the guidelines of the Bible. Let's seek to know him to the full extent that he wants to have a relationship with us, a tangible, real relationship with us. Let's ask him for that in our lives and be open to him meeting us however he'd like to meet us. All right, may you be blessed. Look forward to part 5 as we wrap this up. All right, bye guys.